Good morning. Today is Yud Gimel Shvat. Shvat, Chodesh HaNesius, and we are preparing for Tu B'Shvat. Yadam Eitz HaSadeh. Eitz HaSadeh Gematria 474, which is the same Gematria of Das. So Hashem should mechoinen us Das to understand and to internalize what we learn, so it can make us better people and better servants of Hashem. And we want to dedicate the shiur to the well-being of all the soldiers and the Gilui Nishmas, those who just gave their lives for the defense of the Holy Land. Yesterday, 25 soldiers, Hashem Yerachem, were taken from us, and the family should be consoled by the Geula Amitis Vashlema, and Tchias HaMeisim is the only way, and Tzahal should have a complete victory, and the leader should be strong to stand the pressure, the international pressure, and to follow the will of Hashem, and to lead us in the way that we will get to the Geula Amitis Vashlema immediately. And before we know it, all the hostages should be home, safe, and all those who need recovery from injuries or from illness should be recovering immediately. And on a more personal level, we want to dedicate the shiur to two beautiful Hasidic girls, both of them Chayamushka. One is Chayamushka Bat Adina. Her birthday is today, and the other one, Chayamushka Bat Lea Zlata, and both of you should have lots of nachat from them. They should grow physically and spiritually to be beautiful B'nos Chabad. B'ezrat Hashem, and they should be zecher to see Mashiach Tzidkenu, V'geula Amitis Vashlema Tekef Miyad Mamash. We are on Perek Yutes. These prakim are not easy, for me at least. Let's review first Tipi's review questions and take it from there. Number one, what is the source of the 10 Sfiros HaNe'etzalim?
Is that Adam Kadmon?
Yes. Specifically?
The Malchus of Ach?
Very good. Number two, Malchus shel Adam Kadmon over Tzimtzum v'Niyah. What's the principle b'chlal? Malchus of the higher becomes the keter of the lower.
The Ratzon Kadum?
Yeah. Malchus of the Ratzon Kadum becomes the keter of Atzilus. Atik Yomin. And the Tzimtzum is done in a way of Yesh Me'ayin, meaning that the Tachton doesn't get the Elyon. Number three. What does Koire Kol Hadoros mean? What does reading all generations mean? That's a description of Adam Kadmon, the primordial man, who corresponds to Adam Arishon, Adam in Gan Eden, the human primordial man. So Kore Kol Hadoros, Kore means to call out. So all generations are already there in one point in Adam Kadmon. In one point of the vision of a redeemed world, a redeemed man. All the generations that will unfold. All generations, like you call them out. Everything is there in Adam Kadmon. Which means it's like your self-image. Everything that is going to evolve out of your self-image, whether conscious or not conscious or subconscious, will come out of that. Will manifest from that point. So Koreh Kol Hadoros means that Adam Kadmon is the klal, the general, to all the doros, and specifically, or generally, if you want to begin, doros is also what? What are the doros also? Remember? We said it last time. Anybody remember? Extra points. Extra points.
Is that the Sarah ספירות הגנוזות?
Very good. You got extra points. 50 extra points. קורא כל הדורות, דורות means the spheros. The spheros are בהעלם in Adam Kadmon. It's all like a point. And then all the spheros are called out to be revealed in a manner of ההעלם and גילוי in Atzilus. So Dorot in this case will mean Lemala, means the spheros that are in potential state in Adam Kadmon and revealed state in Atzilus. And Lemata in Adam Arishon, it's one man in Gan Eden who is the source of all generations that will evolve until Mashiach. 5. What is the experience of Gilui ההעלם?
I would think it means that everything is there in Helem, but it's our perspective that, like, how we perceive it is what's going to be revealed to us.
Very good.
That the Tachton ascends to the Elyon.
Yes.
And in it, we all have our ability to see the Seder HaHishtalshelut. So it's a matter of going to that level, to the Elyon, and being able to see what's going on.
Very good. And what is Etzebis Pashtus versus Helem and Gilui? Yes, Yocheved.
Pashtus is a spreading out of the Atzmas.
Which means the Elyon comes down to the Tachton. Like Ila and Alul. In Gilui ההעלם, the Tachton is raised to the Elyon. What realities are realities in the system of Gilui ההעלם, in the revelation of Gilui ההעלם, and what realities are in the system in the manifestation of Etzebis Pashtus? What worlds? So Atzilus and higher is Gilui ההעלם. And Bria and lower, Bria, Yetzira and Asiya is Etzebis Pashtus. So that's why we feel when we relate to the idea of God, we relate to it as something which is outside of ourselves. Like the source is something outside of me, and I'm interacting with my source. I feel it more like Etzebis Pashtus, that's a natural experience in Bia. 6. What is the difference between a good teacher and the opposite, and why? Well, we're not saying that the other one is a bad teacher, but okay. We gave the marshal of two kinds of teachers to explain Gilui ההעלם and Etzebis Pashtus.
One teacher is feeding the information as outside information, and one teacher is uncovering from the student what the student already knows.
Very good.
We all know everything from our inner neshama. We have all the knowledge of everything. So we just uncover it. Right.
So superconsciously, we learn by the Mittler Rebbe, we learn in Shaar Hayichud in Perek Gimel it was, that superconsciously every person knows the entire knowledge of Seder HaHishtalshelut. So when we know something, it's getting it to see what we already know superconsciously. So how do you get to see what you already know superconsciously? So you need to refine your Keli. The more refined the Keli is, the more you see the Das Elyon, the more you see the perspective of the Elyon. The closer you are, the more ascending you are to see the perspective of the Elyon, of that which is above, the higher perspective you have. And that's really knowing. So a good teacher works with the students through Iyun, through leading them to be able to concentrate and to follow and to work on their concentration, on their limud, on their intellectual mental refinement, on their review. So he helps them to refine their kelim so they can see the truth, not because it was transmitted to them as an information, as Peggy says, as the etzem ispatus from the teacher's knowledge that he now transferred it to my brain. Rather, the teacher is helping me to refine my brain and my seichel, my brain, to such an extent that I will be able to see the truth.
That when we relate to Hashem, we relate as something outside of ourselves.
Yes.
Is that true though? Like Mitzvariach Hazelokah?
Which means?
That I behold godliness from within my essence, because in my deep essence, I have a knowledge of my creation.
Absolutely. But you know what? How do you relate to this essence? There's me, and then inside me there is my essence. You don't feel your essence. You know it's there.
But sometimes you feel it, like when something, you have a conversation or you're listening and you start to like tingle. Absolutely. But, the natural disposition, absolutely. God forbid it should be a complete cut. But the natural disposition is that we don't see things from within. In Atzilus and higher, everything is seen from within the essence. Everything is an expression. Even the kelim of Atzilus, which they are Ein Sof. Even the kelim of Atzilus, which are meant to create the perception of Gvul in the lower world, they themselves still, which means that to create Gvul, to generate Gvul, they themselves are still Ein Sof. Everything is part of our Ein Sof. We don't feel like that. Each one feels themselves as the Metzius. And then how this Metzius relates to the source, whether it is outside of myself or inside myself. So you're saying we relate as Helen the Gilui.
Etzem v'Ispashtus.
Related. The Elyon is coming down to the Tachton?
Yes, that's Etzem v'Ispashtus.
I thought we have to rise up to the Elyon.
Right, that's Atzilus. That's Yosef. Yosef didn't see Tachton. Yosef dealt with the Tachton, but all you remained in Atzilus. Everything was our Ein Sof. And his brothers, lo hikiru, they were shepherds. The kids didn't recognize such way of serving God. They say, if you want to be in Olam HaAchdus, stay away from the world and go to be a shepherd. Because they are from Biyah. The Shvatim are from Biyah.
That's from the Mimer.
From Basi Legani. The Rebbe brings it up. The difference between Yosef, Neshama of Atzilus, and the Shvatim, Neshama of Biyah. Yosef was Neshama of Atzilus. He could, Biladecha lo yarim ish et yado v'et raglo. Paro says to Yosef, without you, nobody can move their hand or their foot. You'll have to deal with every little thing in conducting this superpower of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. Economically, strategically, how do you call it? Militarily, politically, everything you'll have to run to the details. And yet he remained in Olam HaAchdus. Everything was just a manifestation of our Ein Sof. This is Gilui ההעלם. Now, of course, Peggy, you're right. We have times that we do feel, the essence, but it's not the natural disposition of Olamos Biyah. Especially not in Olam Asiyah, and especially not Olam Asiyah Gashmi. We cannot even barely can recognize. We can see that we're alive, this Chayus, but can we see that this Chayus is a Elokus? We feel that we're alive. Can we see that it's a Elokus? Why is the mashal of the fire coming out of the coal not such a good? The Rebbe is not promoting it as the best mashal, even though it's not a wrong mashal. It's a mashal from the Zohar. And I'm sorry, from Sefer Yetzirah.
from Kabbalah, that Gilui, that Korea Doros Merosh of Ach, the way the spheres are revealed from Ach in a manner of Gilui ההעלם. Atzilus is the Gilui of the ההעלם of Ach. Is in like a shalhevet akshura bagachelet, like a flame of fire that is attached to the coal. So then the Rebbe said, the Mikle Rebbe, that the adim, to this there are other many examples. And then the Rebbe says, on the line that starts Hamachshava ve'oisios hadibur, which is around 10 lines from the top, in the middle, בכל זה יותר אמיתי מדמיון שלהבת הקשורה בהלם בגחלת. This is all the examples that the Rebbe gave, like of the ziv and the or of the sun, or the chayus of or nefesh when it comes to life of the guf, or the iskakmus from the koach hamaskil to chokhmah, or gilui koach hatnua, the power of movement of a living being, or Oisios HaMachshava, the appearing of the letters of thought, and the creation of letters of Dibur, V'chayagaina, V'chol Zeh, all those examples which each one of them demands, calls for another reflection and meditation. It can take us a few months. Says the Rebbe, it's truer than the mashal of Shalhevet Akshura Be'elem Bagacheles, like the fire that is attached in a concealed way in the hot coal, to the coal. And why is it? Why isn't it? Why the Rebbe says this example is not such a great example?
Because it's closer to cause and effect.
To Etzem V'Ispashtus.
Yeah.
Why?
I guess when you waved you put some like a little bit of wind in on top of the gachelet, the fire comes out. So it's almost like it's too close to cause and effect.
Yes. So it's true, but before that you didn't see any fire, and now all of a sudden you have a gilui of fire. But you are right. It's too close to Etzem V'Ispashtus. Why? Because it's the same fire that was in the coal. When you fanned on it, now it's the same fire came out. So that's like Etzem V'Ispashtus. In Etzem V'Ispashtus, something from the Elyon comes out of and down from the Elyon to the Tachton. That's not Helem and Gilui. In Helem and Gilui, nothing comes down and comes out. The Elyon remains what and where it is. Only that there is an appearance, there is a gilui. It shows up to the tachton. Like the Rebbe says, the color of apple. That is just, nothing of the apple is extended into its color. Not into its appearance. Nothing. It's not the color of the apple. It's not the apple itself. And not even what it will taste like. It's something completely different. It's a color, red or green. But it is showing you, it is a gilui of the apple, of what the apple is like. But nothing came out of the apple.
So the apple is Helem and Gilui.
Yes. Unlike the flame from the coal, from the hot coal, it's actually too close, as Tzipi says, to Etzem V'Ispashtus, because it's the same fire and heat that was in the coal, now it's coming out. You just sand on it and now it's extended. That's Etzem V'Ispashtus. So it's not such a good, even though that in terms of the appearing of fire, before it was hidden, now it's revealed. But the process of how it's revealed is too close to Etzem V'Ispashtus. Okay.
So why did the Sefer HaYetzirah bring it?
Because in terms of realizing that there was fire there before as well, seeing the fire out of not seeing it before, that's the Gilui ההעלם. That there was fire there before. Now all of a sudden you see it after you think, but it's the same fire was before. Now all of a sudden you see it. The same fire. That's why Sefer Yetzirah brings it. It's the same fire. Now you see it. Gilui ההעלם. It depends how you look at it. That's why you can be confused by that. But it's not that it's wrong. It's not wrong, TP. Okay, it's not wrong. It's just not the best because it depends how you understand that mashal, and you can translate it interpret it either as a ההעלם and גילוי or עצם v'spashtus. And other mashalim are more easy to represent ההעלם and גילוי. Okay, next. How is a desire to do a specific act of chesed a gilui ההעלם of midas chesed? Talk to me a little bit about what is the ההעלם and gilui here, that the desire to do a specific act of chesed. How is the gilui ההעלם of midas chesed? But how is it megal ההעלם? I want to give you another example. And again, I told you last time, I'm grappling with gilui ההעלם. It's very hard for me personally, gilui ההעלם, to understand it. Let's say the Ratzon Kadum in every person is dira b'tachtonim. Is to bring a lakud down to in the neshama of each one of us wants to have the vision of bringing a lakud down to this world. This Ratzon will be revealed in many ways. For instance, this same soul that wants to bring a lakus, godliness, and kedusha into the world, this same soul now has to enliven the body, right? Has to animate the body that will do mitzvahs, right? To animate the body, you know what the soul will have to do? It will have to animate the part of the body that breathes and function as a life force of the power of breathing. It will have to be the life force of a digestion system, even of excretation system. One has to eliminate themselves. This vision has to come down to those revealed particular assignments. A Ratzon to create a digestion system, a Ratzon to create a breathing system, a Ratzon to create a brain, mind, feelings, koichos, maise, machshava, dibur, maise. In a way, gilui ההעלם is almost like yesh me'ayin. You don't necessarily see a direct correlation like what CP calls an effect, like etzem v'spashtus. In etzem v'spashtus you can see correlation. It's like you can walk into a white room and see a person cutting another person with a knife. But if you don't know the vision, you think that person is very cruel. But if you will know, if you have the Adam Kadmon, the vision of that person who is a surgeon, you know that actually it's an expression of midas chesed of that person who wants to help people and do surgeries. So in a way, it's like yesh me'ayin. How does going to the bank part of your vision of dira b'tachtonim? You don't see any connection, but you'll have to go to the bank, or your husband will have to, or whatever. You have to go shopping. How is it connected to? It's like, it's gilui ההעלם. That's an indication. It's only an indication. It's not that the aliens come down to the top. It's megale. To that, it's megale. What is the motivation? What is the, you can figure out. It's like looking at the red color. The apple it's a sweet apple. Apple is ripe. But there is a gap between the gilui and the ההעלם. That's how
you also get lost, right?
Excuse me?
Get lost in the process.
You can get lost in the process, yeah.
And that's our problem is because we don't, in that process, other things can come and that's it.
Yeah.
And we are somewhere else.
Yeah. And in psychology, it's very important because get lost in the process until you can have schizophrenia, multi-personality.
Yes.
So the healing is going back to the Adam Kadmon of the person. To connect everything back to the self-image, to the vision. I don't know.
And not only that, you could see opposites, because it could be a person who is very much chesed, but in order to be able to bring the chesed through, has to use a lot of discipline to really make it happen.
Very good point.
On the outside, he might seem very very gvuradik, but
very
the
good
whole
point.
gvura is to bring the chesed through.
Very good point.
A man going out every day to work, he has to discipline himself huge, and it's all just to be able to take care of his family.
Yes. Very good point. As we come down from Adam Kadmon like a point, down to now being particular, breakdown, until we have the Sefirot Gliyot in Atzilus, and then bringing down even further, we have more and more branching out, and to the extent, as Tipi said, that you could have opposites. Yes, there will be opposites. There will be Chesed and Gvura in Atzilus. Yeah. There will be opposites, and everything will include everything, and there will be a balance between everything. And the more you break it down, the more balance you'll have to achieve, and the more opposites will play in the game. Yeah.
So you always have to go back to the Ak point, to the Adam Kadmon point, which is Dira B'Tachtonim. You always have to go back to the original vision of why a person believes that created.
If you don't want Shvirat HaKelim, if you don't want to break it, if you don't want to disconnect, like if one doesn't want to get lost, because the process is very engaging. That's that we're learning now about Basil Legani, that Or and Sof is lemata mata ad and tachlis, means that it's bistatus, not because it remains makif. That it takes the shape and the character of every detail, yet it remains completely untouched. Not easy to achieve. Yeah, that's why Achayus always has to work with the balance of our Shov. We have to go up. We have to constantly divest ourselves from being engaged, because we can get lost. We can lose the connection. We can lose ourselves in the illusion of existence other than Enot Bilvadoi. And that's why our Chayus goes constantly in the manner of Atzov Shov, up and down, to create the right balance. So down when we get engaged, and then we have to leave to survive and to get the right perspective again, as you say, to reconnect with the primordial image. We have to leave the world, go back. It's like Shabbos, what Shabbos does to the rest of the week, and gives us koyach to continue the next week. We're constantly we're trying to create a balance and yichudin between the higher and the lower. We are constantly turning duality into union.
And every time we do that, is that called tshuva?
Yes.
Is that the touch of hay? Every time we're able to.
Yes, we are reconnecting the reality with its source. We are turning the sheker of Olam Hazeh, the illusion that there is two or more, to the keresh of the Mishkan, of the revelation of the oneness of the presence of Hashem that can now be revealed. We prepare the keli. Yes, our consciousness, the keli of our consciousness, through Eitz Hasadeh, Das. Eitz Hasadeh begematria is Das, which is the of Shvat, to be Shvat, Eitz Hasadeh. We spoke about it before you came. The gematria Das, 474, Eitz Hasadeh. Yes?
One of the things, with everything that we learn in Pasigali also, is like celebrating the presence, the reality, even though just realizing how much there's to celebrate, how perfect the reality is, rather than what I have in mind to be this idealistic.
Yes. Last night I had a farbrengen with some wonderful girls, they're waiting for their families to be established. Beautiful, intelligent, open, gorgeous, each one of them. And I said, at the end, I said, it's a beautiful world. It's really a beautiful world. It's a beautiful. So this, it's a beautiful world. The African, one of them, beautiful world. We need to see how it is a beautiful world, even though, what comes at us is the opposite. But we need to see how it's a beautiful world. What everybody's engaged is the opposite, and the media is the opposite of the beauty of the world. But it's a beautiful world. And we have a lot of beautiful things that we enjoy, including being able to sit with computers in our comfort, our own homes, or wherever we are, in Florida, outside on the porch, on the cell phone, or in my bedroom, and learn Hasidus. As much Hasidus and as deep as I wish. When was it that women did that? It's a beautiful world. 246, the line that starts, Kizgalus atnua be'etzem achai, which is a little bit above the middle. I'm going back a little bit. Izharus makor leratzon ze lechesed o ledin nechshav adayin me'etzem hamidah she'eno nivdal min haklal. So the Izharus leratzon lechesed, like in Adam Kadmon, is considered still part of Midas HaChesed, the way it is part of the Nefesh. It's like an authentic, really authentic, still part, manifestation of Midas HaChesed. That's the way it is in Ak. אבל מה שנולד רצון בגילוי לדין או להיפוכו, but the process of a specific revealed ratzon for punishment or for negative response, the din, or the opposite. This is like his galus mar'eh. This is like ההעלם and gilui, the his galus of an appearance le'etzem, how the etzem shows up through a certain appearance. The etzem reveals itself to a certain appearance. It doesn't go anywhere, but it now shows up in a certain way. Kizgalus atnu'a be'etzem achai, like how do you know that it's a living being? Like you see that it moves. It's that there is a movement revealed from etzem achai. Or kegilui achayus bedavar nivdal, or Gilui Achayus bedavar nivdal, like I said before, that let's say the soul wants to do dira b'tachtonim. So it also will have to operate a body and to make sure that it's a blood circulation. How is it shayach to dira b'tachtonim? It's davar nivdal legamre. Or how you going to the bank or you peeling carrots in the kitchen has to do with dira b'tachtonim. It looks like it's something with a lukut. It looks like it's something davar legamre. You're making Shabbos, and then the carrot will be part of Shabbos soup. And even now, when you are peeling it, you're connecting whatever it is. It's bedavar nivdal. Gilui achayos of the soul bedavar nivdal. In the goof, the goof is moving. What is a goof moving? Shayach to neshama. Shuru goof. What is the davar nivdal in this case? The goof. How the neshama, the soul, shows up in the goof, enlivens the goof. Shemipnei shu chai be'etzem, because the soul is not doing anything. But because the soul is a chai be'etzem, because the soul is by default a living thing, megale chayuso betnuah. Therefore, when it interacts with the body, it reveals its life force through movement. Now the body moves. But really there's no direct connection between a soul, which is completely spiritual entity, to a body that moves. But that's an appearance. This is how the soul shows itself up. וכן מפני שהוא דבר חי בעצם מחיה גם לגוף. And the soul really doesn't have to put effort and toil in order to pump energy into the body like a battery. A battery is dispatchless min ha'etzem. I hope I'm giving good examples. And then it drains out. A soul is not like this. It doesn't go anywhere. There's no an extension that something from the soul is now invested in the body. Rather, because the soul is davar chai be'etzem, because a soul is a living being, be'etzem is alive, it's a living thing, then it naturally, automatically, mechaye gam laguf adomem. It will animate a inanimate body, a piece of flesh. Our body is a piece of flesh. But if it interacts with the soul, it's not that the soul will have to now like pump chayos and make it, let me make you more alive, more. Oh, I'm tired, I can't make you more. Oh, I have to take a break. Okay, so now I have to rest, No. It's just gilui ההעלם. It's because it's davar chai be'etzem, it's mechaye v'guf. How does he say it exactly here? mechaye gam laguf, adומם שנקרא חיי בשר. And that's called the life of the flesh. When the body hosts the neshama, the nefesh, then the body, now the flesh of the body is alive. It's not like, we said it many times, it's not like when you plug in a mixer into the electricity, into the outlet. Then the mixer will operate, will move fast, might chop the hardest grain before Pesach, I don't know, and do a lot of things. But when you plugged in the cord of the mixer to the outlet and connected it to electricity, the part of the mixer did not become alive. The plastic and the metal of the mixer is not alive now. It's the same inanimate as it was before. It just was moved fast. When the soul comes into the body, now you have chayei basar. The body now is alive. It's not inanimate anymore. This is chayei basar. The flesh is now alive. כי גילוי רצון זה בא בדבר נבדל. So when the Rebbe talks about גילוי ההעלם, so גילוי רצון זה comes in something separate, like the body separate from the soul. שהוא עניין זה של חסד או דין. So this inyan of chesed and din, we will do all kinds of things that are an expression, and we will want to do all kinds of things that are an expression of our midas chesed. But if you look at them, they have nothing to do. They look like there's no connection between them and midas chesed. When you go and help someone who is sick, you do all kinds of things. You might go to the kitchen and make soup there, and cooking soup. What is cooking soup has to do? It's chemistry, or I don't know what it is. What does it have to do? Some physical activity. What does it have to do with chesed, with kindness? You see the connection, you understand. But really, it's bedavar nivdal. It reveals itself through a davar nivdal, or in a davar nivdal. אבל מקור המוליד רצון זה, but the source that gives birth to that רצון, whether it is din or chesed, any specific רצון which is revealed in Atzilus, or in Keter of Atzilus, הוא בא מכוח עצם המידה. However, the רצון, the source from where the wish to do chesed or the opposite comes, which you call רצון הקדום, this still, you can say, comes from the essence of the midah itself. That's really an authentic expression of the soul still. עצם המידה לבד. ומובן ממילא בהיות שיש כמה אופני דברים שיוליד רצון מיוחד לכל אחד ממקור אחד, and מובן ממילא, naturally, you can understand that there will be many manners and ways that of specific ratzons, specific ratzonos that will be born out of one source of the desire for chesed, the inclination for chesed. The inclination for chesed will give birth to all kinds of retzonos. Particular things, as you said before, Tzipi, even up those that look like opposites. Like I have to be gvura. I'm doing chesed. Let's say Tzipi is going to help her neighbor, and Tzipi's child says, "I want to come with you," and says, "No, you have to stay and do your homework." It's not chesed. It's the opposite. It's gvura. But it's all part of this chesed. Now, of the love to the kid and of the love to the neighbor, all it's part of. But I'm not. You have to do it yourself because I'm not going to the neighbor. So this is gvura, but it's part of chesed. All an expression of the original makor to do good. Shehu talui be'etzem hamida tamid. So Adam Kadmon will always be talui be'etzem hamida, in the essence of the mida, the way it is before the tzimtzum, the way it is in etzem hanefesh, in yachid. וגם שכל המטה תמיד כלפי רצון וחסד, היינו רק מצד עצם מידת החסד. So also sechel, also if you see that there is a sechel that is always leaning, sechel hamate tamid klape ratzon v'chesed, there is a mentality, a sechel, and a mindset that will always lead towards chesed, towards the wish to judge favorably, or to handle or to assess everything in a chesed way. This is still haynorak mitzad etzem midat chesed. This is like in the really the core of the personality of the person. You see, it's the Adam Kadmon of the person. If he is a person of chesed, that will give birth to all kinds of retzonos. All this begins in Adam Kadmon, which is really an expression of etzem midat chesed, shemolid tamid ratzon b'sechel chesed davka, that will always give birth to a wish and a logic that will justify doing chesed. ויש כמה עניינים נבדלים, but how it will manifest? Many separate ways. Maybe the person will be a surgeon. Maybe the person will be a teacher. Maybe the person will be a nurse. Maybe the person will be a kind mother. How will the chesed be expressed, and what desires and what ways of expression the person will desire? That varies. As it breaks down, it varies more. Eitz HaChaim, upside down tree. ולכל אחד, and to each one, מוליד רצון ושכל בפני עצמו. Now, every particular wish will have its own keser, its own ratzon. Let's say I need to go to the bank. So first I have to have a keser to do all this. I want to go to the bank. Why? Oh, because I need money. Why? Because I want to do a mitzvah. I want to help somebody, buy them food for Shabbos. I don't know why. So I want to go to the bank. But how is they going to bank shaykh to midat chesed? Well, you have to keep connection. As Ruchama says, don't get lost. When you go to the bank, don't lose yourself. But remember that it's all about helping your neighbor. Okay? So, nevertheless, יש כמה עניינים נבדלים, ולכל אחד has to have its own רצון to go to the bank, and sechel, how to do it, and the logic, how to do it, and the reasoning why you're doing it, and the all that you will want it to do, or what you would want not to do, and so on. ונמצא, so we find, שהרצון לרצון של חסד בכלל יוכל להוליד כמה הרצון של חסד בפרט. So we find that the ratzon to do chesed, the ratzon to want to do chesed, Adam Kadmon. The ratzon to ratzon, Adam Kadmon. The ratzon to ratzon of chesed, bichlal, which is the general, the klal, will give birth to many pratim. it can give birth to many, many returners of chesed, bifrat, in particular. The chesed will manifest in many, many ways. בכמה עניינים שונים, in many עניינים. באופנים שונים, and in many ways. באופנים שונים מאוד. Very different. When it breaks down, very different. Acts of chesed will look in many, many different ways. Some of them will look like killing. People who are out of chesed and out of avas ha'am and avas ha'aretz going to kill other people who are evil. והכל ממקור אחד. But everything comes from one source. Adam Kadmon is the klal to all the prati retzonos, all the detailed ketzarim, the detailed crowns. והכל ממקור אחד שהוא רצון הנעלם הנקרא עצם הרצון של חסד. Everything comes from one source, which is the hidden ratzon, which is called, in this case, the hidden ratzon for chesed, עצם הרצון של chesed, which is the essence of the wish for chesed, how it is embedded in our personality. Adam Kadmon is the personality of the person that has in it the עצם הרצון for chesed. מצד Atzilus המידה ההעלם, which is a manifestation of the essence of the midah, the way this midah chesed is included in עצם הנפש of that person. רק שבא בדרך פרט. Only what will be Atzilus and further than Atzilus, further down, how it will be manifesting particularly, specifically. להיות רצון לרצון זה בדבר פרט. How this wish to want chesed, to want to do chesed, will now manifest in a specific way. בדבר פרט זה חולו ודל. How it will manifest in the wish to become a doctor and heal people. And that will give birth to many, many sub-retzonos. ומובן על כל פנים, however, in any case it's understood שיש הפרש גדול בין גילוי הרצון לחסד שאינו רק בחינת גילוי ההעלם של עצם הרצון המוליד רצון זה שהוא בא מכוח עצם המידה שהוא אינו בחינת נבדל חולו ודל. Bottom line is that you understand that the bottom line of all this, that there is a big difference. What is Gilui Haratzon? Meaning Atzilus, the seros that are revealed, meaning what it means by a person when there is a conscious wish to do chesed. Gilui Haratzon chesed. שאינו רק בחינת גילוי ההלם של עצם הרצון. What is the conscious gilui of a wish to do chesed? What is the gilui of? What is that? It's just a gilui. You got to see your midas chesed. You got to see the chesed in your personality. You got to see the chesed in your Adam Kadmon. Gilui ההלם של עצם הרצון המוליד that gives birth to this specific conscious ratzon to do chesed. שהוא בא מכוח עצם המידה. That comes from the power of the essence of מידת החסד, which אינו בחינת נבדל ודל. It's not separate from the soul. ועל דרך משל זה, and to understand that nothing, this is just a pointer. It's like the color of the apple shows on the sweetness of the apple. It's just a pointer that shows on midas chesed in your personality. The fact that you want now to go to the makolet and to the grocery and get groceries for Shabbos for a poor person. ועל דרך משל זה יובן עניין קורא הדורות מראש דאדם קדמון. And this is what Kabbalah says. What does it mean, קורא הדורות מראש דאדם קדמון? That Adam Kadmon is the vision that includes in a manner of cloud, of one point that is not broken down yet, all the revealed manifestations, beginning with the revealed 10 spheros, that will afterwards will be also invested in Davar Mivdal, in Bria, Yetzira, and Natsiya, until Olam Masiyah Gashmi. When a person will end up putting a physical coin in a physical box as an act of chesed. כמשל הקורא דבר שיצא מהעלמו לגילוי לחוץ. כך כל עיקר בחינות 10 ספירות דאצילוס הוא שיצאו מהעלמם לגילוי בלבד. So too, הקורא דבר, כמשל ואיזה קורא הדורות מראש, that to call out all generations from their beginning, is שיצא מהעלמו לגילוי לחוץ. We are calling it out that it should be revealing from a hidden state to be revealed. So too, the 10 spheros of Atzilus means that the 10 spheros, the way they were gnuzos, the way they were concealed and hidden in Ak, will be now going out from their concealed state to be now revealed and concretized in Atzilus. Not concretized like in Biyah. Not concretized to be a Metzius by itself, because in Atzilus everything is one with Ensof. But there is already a Gilui ההעלם, ועל כן נקראו בשם אורות. That's why the spheros of Atzilus are called lights. From now they are shining from a hidden state to be now revealed. The doros are the spheros. And נקראות בשם אורות, lights. Kabbalah uses the term, the metaphor of lights, or spheros. כמו זיו ואור, like a radiance and light that reveals the ma'or, that reveals the source. What is light? The whole nature of light is to shine and to reveal itself. So too, the light, the spheros, revealed spheros of Atzilus, all they do is megale what was בהעלם in Ak. וכמו כל בחינת גילוי ההעלם, שאינו רק בבחינת אור, וכבחינת מראה וגוון, וכמו תנועת החי. And this is like every aspect of גילוי ההעלם, which is just like light. Nothing goes out, it's like light. Light is not, the shemesh, the sun doesn't, the sun is only a metaphor, because after all the sun is physical and it's limited, but it's only a metaphor to light, lemaila, to the spiritual light. Still, the sun doesn't go anywhere. Its light goes, but it doesn't go anywhere. So כמו בחינת גילוי ההעלם שאינו בחינת אור, like אור, או כבחינת מראה, like an appearance, or a color, גוון, of like the apple, or תנועת החי, that a moving being indicates there is a soul there. What does the soul have to do with the moving organs? Nothing. A soul is something spiritual, and an organ that moves or doesn't move is something in a physical reality. But it's a גילוי ההעלם, it's megale what is hidden. והיינו כמו ויצל מן הרוח, like Moshe Rabbeinu, who extended from his Ruach HaKodesh to the 70 elders, שאין זה רוחו של מוישה. When it says that Moshe extended, he emanated from his Ruach HaKodesh to the Skenim, to the elders, It's like lighting one candle from another. You didn't diminish anything. You didn't take away from candle A and then extended it and now lit candle B and now candle A is missing it. Or it's like extended from candle A. No. It's just ha'ara from candle A. Nothing was taken away from candle A. It's ha'ara from candle A. It's just a radiance. It's just an extension, Atzilus, an emanation. And so too, Rucho Shel Moshe, when it was extended is not good word because extended indicates etzem v'hispashtus. When it was emanated to the elderlies, ain't the Rucho Shel Moshe. It's not that the actual Ruach Kodesh of Moshe was actually stretched and extended to the elders. No. Rak b'chinas gilui oro v'zivo bilvad. It was only a gilui from the light of Moshe and the radiance of Moshe, which means the ability of Moshe to be revealed in their consciousness. Hu sheneitzal ve'ufrash begilui. hu sheneitzal ve'ufrash kegilui shalheves min hagacheles b'chirai gavna. That is what was emanated and extended, like the gilui of the shalheves min hagacheles, like the gilui of the fire from the coal. So again, we are closing a circle here. And we begin with the mashal of the gilui shalheves min hagacheles that the Sefer Yetzirah brings as a mashal for gilui ההעלם. Then the Rebbe says, well, it's not a great mashal because it can confuse us, because really it's the same fire that is in the gacheles that now shows itself. So you can think that it is etzem v'hispashtus. So now we close again, and the Rebbe says, well, Sefer Yetzirah did bring the mashal of gilui ההעלם to the shalheves and the gacheles. Why? Because nothing is new, nothing new was created, and nothing really is leaving the coal. It just now you see that the coal has fire in it. There's very much like a yesh me'ayin type of dynamic in gilui ההעלם. Like when you are kind and you can do all kinds of things that don't indicate kindness at all. Just, maybe it indicates that you are practical or something like that. How you go to the grocery store and you're very efficient and everything, and you put everything neatly in the cart and everything. But it's all just expression of your midat chesed. So there's bedavar anivdal. You can't tell. You can't tell when you see that woman arranging her products perfectly in her cart, and then how she elegantly takes her purse out and pays for her groceries to the cashier and everything. You have no idea that she's doing chesed. It looks like davar nivdal, but if you know the association, it's a gilui, it's a pointer. It's all megale midas chesed. What do we celebrate to Bishvat? It's 7 minim, starting with chita and soera, but as we said, we celebrate mainly the fruits. Why did Hashem make fruits? Just for tainug. Why? Because as we know, especially the Samach Bavniks, we have two essential powers that are an expression of etzem nefesh. What are the two essential powers?
Tainug and ratzon.
Tainug and ratzon. Right. But ratzon operates in a manner of kfiyah. It forces us. If I want to do a diet, I will force myself not to eat. Tainug, however, brings chayus. Borei nefashos rabot bechesronan, that's the chita and the soera. What we need to, what we have to. Al kol ma shebarat lachayos bahem nefesh kol chai. What gives us chayus is tainug. That's the fruits. So when you do things only out of ratzon without tainug, you will do it. But Kabbalah's all, it's not as alive. Your Yiddishkeit and your Maisim are not as alive as when we're doing it with chayus. With Tainug, with Tainug. When we're doing it with Tainug, then we have Chayus. Everything has a lot of Chayus, right? So, Tu B'Shvat Sameach, that's why it's so important, בעלות עלייה לרגל, עלות לרגל לראות את פני רבו, to see the face of the Rebbe, to see the full, perfect Adam HaTachton that is a reflection of Adam HaElyon. It's a perfect man that is ego-free, completely, a tzaddik Elyon that is completely ego-free. And that's because a Rebbe is a tzaddik that is completely tzaddik gamur, the ego-free, each one of us can see ourselves in him. That when we look at him, nothing of him in terms of ego obscures our ability to see ourselves within that image of an Adam that reflects the divine vision, and how we are reflecting that as an individual. We see that in looking at the Rebbe. It's hard to see it in myself because there are so many things that are blocking me from because of my nefesh habahamis and insecurities and all these inyanim, that it doesn't allow me, it obscures my being able to see the real perfect me as I'm envisioned in Machshava Kduma De'ach of Hashem. When I look at the Rebbe, I can see it, so I can connect to myself. Yeah, and he's Neshama Klalit. Neshama Klalit includes all of us. He is Dr. Adam Kadmon of the Adam Arishon of every generation. Yeah.
Right.
You'll get to the Ratzon Kadum. You'll get to the Ratzon Kadum, which means how you want to manifest yourself in the world, whatever, and then you can trace it even before the Tzimtzum to the way it is really part of Etzem HaNefesh. And then it's not yet addressed to be manifested in any way yet.